Hello, welcome. I do see some people starting to kind of roll in, so we're going to give everyone just another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. Maybe just a few more seconds there. Okay, well, we can at least go ahead and get started with some introductions. And if some more people start to trickle in, they won't be missing too much. So welcome. This is the first online info session of the fall cycle. So we're really excited to start welcoming new inquiries and start answering questions with prospective students to start in next fall of 2025. My name is Amy, so if you've received anything from the admission office, more than likely my name has been on it so far. I am your primary contact for everything admissions with the New England School of Acupuncture. And alongside me, we have Dean Mosman, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Dennis Mosman. As Amy said, I'm the Dean of New England School of Acupuncture, and I welcome you to our presentation.
Wonderful. So just a few housekeeping items. This is being recorded, so also don't worry if you feel like you missed a slide or you're trying to take a note. This is being recorded. It'll be available to send out. So this is not, I mean, if you wanted to take screenshots or take certain notes, please feel free to do so. But it also would be available for you to take in afterwards. Q&A box is live throughout the whole webinar. So if you have questions along the way, please feel free to use them. I will promise you that I will answer all questions. If you don't get an immediate answer, more than likely it's because it's coming up in the presentation, or we may address it as a live question. But I do promise all questions that are put into the Q&A will be addressed during this session. So we'll go ahead and get started here. My computer, there we go. My computer would like to work. So first and foremost, welcome. If we are thinking about acupuncture, that means that we are here in the healthcare field and really following that mission. And that's really what MCPHS is all about. You are not going to find a history degree here. You're not going to find, any kind of liberal arts degree, but you are going to find over 100 different programs that are healthcare and health science intensive here at the university. So obviously, I think if we take kind of a look around at current society, healthcare is on the rise. Healthcare occupations are on the rise, which includes acupuncture. I know that I'm at a stage of my life that I'm helping older parents and older generations with different healthcare issues. A lot of things that I just never thought I needed to know about. So, and the healthcare industry is really changing. There's lots of things going on there. So, and we've been doing this for over 200 years. So we just celebrated our bicentennial last year. First and foremost, yes, we're a pharmacy school. Still very prominent in our name, but we've really taken on an identity. It's really a comprehensive healthcare university and really spreading on all different sides of healthcare, which I think is very prominent with having a full school of acupuncture here in the university. Our students come from all over. So over 7,500 students enrolled from, of course, all 50 states here in the United States, plus 74 different countries. I have had the pleasure of traveling domestically and internationally for the university. And I'm always surprised, no matter where I think I'm going in the world, that, oh, no one probably knows who I am here. I find an alum or someone absolutely, or I have a family member who went there, or I have a friend that went there. So really our name does spread for all different angles and areas of the world. With having a longstanding reputation, we also have some amazing clinical affiliations, including those in the Longwood medical area that's down the street from our Boston campus, including Mass Brigham Women's Hospital, Boston Children's Hospital, and we are going to talk a little bit later about some specific clinical affiliations with our acupuncture programs. So right now, even though we do have 3 campuses that encompass the university, our acupuncture programs are housed on our Worcester campus, which is my home campus, and I also live in Worcester. So I've also had the pleasure of living in Worcester pretty much through this big revitalization we've had here in the city. So I was first a student nearby of the city, and that was kind of when MCPHS was really coming into the city. Downtown looks completely different. There was a lot of investment put into the city to not only, build the university, but also really with a community focus, a community care focus. So not only do we have these amazing programs on our campus, we also have 4 different community clinics available here, including our acupuncture clinic here on our campus. So very diverse city, lots of things going on. We are, if you notice on any of our street signs, there are red hearts. We are known as the heart of the Commonwealth. We have a pretty large real estate footprint down here in downtown Worcester. So you'll see lots of signage for MCPHS. We have university security in all of those buildings, as well as in between all of our buildings. We have a very active social community. We have up to 12 universities within our city limits. So lots of activities for college students and grad students. The Worcester campus is an all graduate campus. So just know there are no undergraduate programs here. Majority of our undergraduate programs, they're all in Boston on our flagship campus. One really great thing about having kind of that large real estate footprint here in Worcester is that we have housing, and we can pretty much guarantee housing for every student that requests it. And we have multiple styles of housing. So you'd never have more than 1 roommate, or possibly up to 2 max. I think we still have a couple 3-bedroom suites, but either single living or double living. So we have everything from your normal kind of dorm suite style. That's the one you could have up to 3 bedrooms in it with 2 roommates. You have a community kitchen within that suite and up to 2 bathrooms. We also have, in terms of shared living, we have 2-bedroom apartments. We also have 2-bedroom condos. We do have single style living. So both, one of the buildings actually was an old hotel. And so we kept those hotel rooms. So really, if you think about walking into a Sheraton, opening up that hotel room door, that's what you're getting. So private bath, and living bedroom area. There are community kitchens on each floor for the residents of that floor, but you would have that one space to yourself. Also, if you notice down in the right-hand corner of the screen, we have these very small studio, sometimes referred to as micro apartments. So I always like to compare it, if you've ever stayed at like a Marriott, like a Residence Inn or a Home Away, having that hotel room space with a kitchenette. So having your private kitchen area with private bath, single unit. So there's parking available on campus. There's lots of housing options available on campus. A lot of students sometimes, especially if you're not commuting distance and you are going to be relocating to the city, will take advantage of the on-campus housing because you can also roll it into federal funding. So if you are taking out any federal loans, you can include this rent cost through that. And sometimes it's just a little bit helpful to students. So we are really excited that we have that option for our students. And being an all grad campus, we can offer all of these choices for all graduate housing, which is not something that is very common on the grad level if you're looking at other universities. So on our campus, since we do have that larger footprint, we also have a lot of programs going on campus, and these are all on-campus clinical programs. So one of the benefits of coming to MCPHS is, yes, you have a 5-floor gorgeous building with a community clinic on the first floor for the School of Acupuncture. However, it's not just an acupuncture school. We are also a dental hygiene school. We're also a nursing school. We're also, obviously a pharmacy school and an optometry school. All of these different professions all in one place, all in one small city campus. So what that means is you have the opportunity to start working with these other professions before you even enter any kind of clinical phase of your program or before you really enter that workforce. With that, a little bit of rundown on how that works is every quarter students come together and you'll either have like a case study or case analysis, or maybe a short book to read, and you would prepare your treatment plans, your insights on that patient coming from your profession. So in your case, it would be coming from the acupuncturist. But you would also be at a table with other professions, sharing your ideas, sharing your treatment plans, and that's where you're really learning on how to work together, how to make sure that we're taking care of this patient completely and we're comfortable talking to our peers and recommending different treatments. With knowing a little bit on how that works, Dean Mosman, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about the importance of this interprofessional education, and how that really helps our students for when they graduate.
Sure, Amy, thanks. Yeah, so as Amy said, one of the beautiful things about MCP is the fact that here on the Worcester campus, we share it with other healthcare professionals, and we have a unique opportunity to communicate, cooperate, and collaborate with our fellow healthcare professional faculty and students, and take part in a lot of interprofessional education activities over the course of the year. The importance of this is that, I think mainstream healthcare is very patient-centered, and part of the patient-centered care model is the fact that your team of healthcare professionals is, as I said, communicating, cooperating, and collaborating with patients, families and loved ones in an effort to provide the best quality patient-centered care. And so, at the heart of that model is that we as acupuncturists are familiar with what other healthcare professionals are doing, to best serve our shared patients. And it's also very important for other healthcare professionals to know what it is that we're doing as part of that patient-centered care model. So being able to, have these interprofessional education opportunities both in and out of the classroom with students and faculty from other disciplines allows us to learn kind of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you will need to demonstrate as a member of a healthcare team and allow you to provide the kind of care that I'm talking about. So that's kind of unique, certainly, to Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences because of, the healthcare professional programs that we have.
Perfect. So a little bit about kind of as we're kind of wrapping up and talking about the university in general, a little bit about us and what we have to offer for you as a student. So not only do we have amazing faculties and state-of-the-art facilities, I mean, our faculty members, they're coming from the industry. Your faculty members are your first colleagues. They're still practicing in the industry. They are practicing in our clinic. They're practicing alongside you as a student. So most of your faculty across MCPHS, and not necessarily specific to acupuncture, they hold terminal degrees in their fields. Our faculty university-wide are the ones that are still doing research. They're still getting published. They're still getting phone calls of being asked to be, to come back on as practitioners, or is there anything they can do? So they're highly regarded in their field, and we're very lucky to have them. But also as students, you're lucky to have some of these faculty as those are my first colleagues and they're top of their field, and that's where you're starting from. So we're really happy to be able to offer that to our students. There is support among support and layers of resources available to you as a student. And I do like to go back for the fact of there are no undergraduate students on this campus. So when we talk about, the Center for Academic Success and Enrichment, That is for all of our graduate students. That is separate from services that we do offer our undergraduate students, which can also be different in some of these bigger universities that serve both populations on one campus. So you will always have faculty advisors, so that will be within your program, but you also have access to peer tutoring, peer mentors. You'll notice that kind of automatically you'll start seeing students a class above you automatically offering to help you, offering to mentor you without even going through kind of a formal process. So if you need any kind of academic, you know, adjustments or any kind of help or any kind of tutoring or any kind of counseling, that is all free of charge to you. Any kind of accommodations needed is something that the university would provide. And if you have questions about that prior to enrollment, I am always happy to have those discussions and making sure that you know what resources we have out there. I will say that normally we do have a student here on the information session. With being the start of the semester, there were some scheduling issues. So typically we do have Amber on here and she talks about she's been a tutor and she's been a mentor, and she always talks about how she really took advantage of those resources when she got here. And I do always like the fact that a lot of students talk about that when you get to tutoring at this level and this kind of career clinical program, tutoring is also good for A+ students. Sometimes it's good to go and get a little bit of help in terms of maybe studying. I can tell you for sure that the way that you studied as an undergraduate student is going to be much different than the way you're going to study as a graduate student, in a different way of studying this kind of material. So even our students that they're not saying, well, I'm not necessarily struggling academically, but having this tutoring, having this mentoring really just helps elevate my success in the program. So career development starts the day that you arrive. I think a lot of people start talking about, oh, well, when I'm an alum. So if I need, when I'm getting that job, that's when career development happens. Career development happens, I really believe, the day you walk onto campus. You really do start to learn about what you are going to be doing to prepare for your career as soon as you are here, and those resources are available to you as soon as you are here as a student as well.
Yeah, I'd like to just add to that, Amy,
Sure.
in that, so student success and student satisfaction is certainly a high priority at New England School of Acupuncture. As Amy said, the Center for Academic Success and Enrichment is very supportive of our students. We have services for our students that include peer tutors, and we have quite a few of our upper class persons that act as peer tutors and help their fellow students to be successful in the program. We have professional tutors who are licensed acupuncturists who also are providing tutoring services to students, not only in theoretical classes, but some of the hands-on classes. And then we have built into the program clinical skills labs, which are non-credit bearing kind of extra help courses that are offered every week in the program for students to come in and maybe practice some clinical skill that has been taught previously, for those students who want to get a little bit more practice on that skill, or maybe aren't feeling as comfortable as they would like to. So those are built into the program. Those are typically offered during our university activity period, which are on Thursday afternoons around the lunch hour. So that's been very, very helpful for students. And as far as the career placement goes, I see every job posting and job opportunity for acupuncturists that comes through the university, and I get on a weekly basis 2, 3, and 4 opportunities for acupuncturists who are looking to hire acupuncturists or hospital placements. I'm fairly impressed with the number of opportunities that we get, and I feel like certainly acupuncture in the New England region is probably more popular than in some parts of the country. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for job placements and professional placement as an acupuncturist.
Absolutely. I always love following, which we can always give you I always follow, us on Instagram, specifically the acupuncture programs. And I'm always amazed at how many different, job opportunities are coming up, and not just job opportunities that are local, job opportunities that are in Seattle, California, down south. So it's really great that our network, is spanning that far and giving opportunities to our alum, no matter where they are in the country or in the world. So I know that we've talked about the New England School of Acupuncture, and we've talked about Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. So sometimes I understand that this can get confusing. I understand that. So the New England School of Acupuncture joined Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, back in 2016. The university itself has a lot of clinical programs, which we talk about, and the fact of, we have PA and we had nursing and we had all these different kind of programs, but we didn't offer all health options. So with being able to join, with NISA, we now are offering kind of all ends of the spectrum here when we're talking about healthcare. So there was, we've been here, well, MCPHS has celebrated 200 years, and we are proud to say that NISA is coming up on their 50th anniversary. So two old schools, two very successful schools coming together, really to offer, a high valued, education, and really offering some of the best resources I've ever seen. So Dean Mosman, if you'd like to talk a little bit about, who we are and kind of, some of these rankings and kind of what that means for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you can see from the slide, we perennially rank very high as far as, high performing acupuncture colleges. Certainly with return on investment, I feel like we perform very high. As Amy said, we're the oldest acupuncture college in the United States. Happy to be partnered with, certainly one of the oldest schools of pharmacy in the country as well. We've been doing this a long time. Our program has, consistently for the last now going on 5 decades, continually undergone professional growth and development, meaning the curriculum has been, consistently analyzed and improved to deliver the highest quality acupuncture education in the country. So I think, if you talk to any one of our alum, you will hear that we are preparing our graduates to go into a practice setting of their choice, meaning a private practice, meaning potentially in a hospital or an integrative medicine setting or into a community acupuncture clinic. And they are feeling very prepared to enter the professional part of their career and begin practicing this medicine that they've spent the last maybe 3+ years with us studying.
So we never want to make any assumptions. This could be your first kind of dose into acupuncture. So we are going to talk a little bit about, we've talked about with the university, but maybe we're going to talk a little bit about, well, what are we teaching? What is acupuncture? What is traditional Chinese medicine? So Dean Mosen, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about kind of what are we doing here in these programs?
Yeah, so various sources say different things about what is Chinese medicine made of, like what are the pillars, some folks refer to it as, of Chinese medicine. And that's really where this slide came from. So, Chinese medicine, in terms of what it encompasses, it's a system of medicine based on the philosophical and, kind of like cultural patterns in China. And it was a medicine developed, thousands of years ago, over 2,000 years ago, and has developed into an entire system of medicine that has several subparts. And one of those parts is acupuncture. And so here I'm talking about the insertion of needles into different points on the body to bring about a therapeutic effect. And acupuncture is often talked about in the same breath as with what typically are called other adjunctive therapies. So that would be things like moxibustion, which is an herb that's burned for therapeutic effect, and cupping, which is kind of like a decompression technique that creates a vacuum pressure and allows you to move the muscles and tissues of the body in a specific way to bring about a therapeutic effect. Gua sha, which is a scraping technique, and electroacupuncture, which is a more modern technique where we attach like electrodes to the needle and we generate a small current and create a muscle contraction, maybe similar to something you might have experienced in physical therapy or another rehabilitative medicine specialty as well. So acupuncture and adjunctive therapies are kind of one branch of the medicine. Then there's Chinese herbal medicine, which is the use of specific herbs and herbal formulas that were originally native to China and use them much like you would, a pharmaceutical prescription to treat certain conditions. Then there are kind of the, breathing, movement, and nutritional components of the medicine. So this medicine it firmly has roots in, before there was herbs, we learned to eat well, and we learned to eat in accordance with the seasons and with nature and what is growing and sustainable in our region of the world. So we teach an integrative form of nutrition here, which kind of combines both, East Asian nutritional ideas as well as Western medical nutritional ideas. We teach self-care courses, and the self-care courses are both have roots in breathing techniques that some of you may know from like yoga or from meditation. Those breathing techniques are similar in Chinese medicine self-care practices such as Tai Chi or Qigong. Meditation practices also go along with both Tai Chi and Qigong. Movement, we say here in the West, things that are important are like eating and sleeping and movement or exercise. And just as we talk about those in East Asian medicine, we talk about movement therapies, again, such as Tai Chi and Qigong, that help create a physical as well as emotional well-being in the body. And then long being part of Chinese medicine is East Asian body work techniques. This is like a massage therapy. Here we teach a form called Tuina, which is kind of a classical Chinese form of body work. And it uses the hands similarly to the way that you would use a needle to bring about therapeutic effects as well. And then in addition to those kind of pillars of Chinese medicine, you're going to learn a very deep understanding of the biomedical model of disease and the biomedical treatment of disease. So you'll be well versed not only in the traditional Chinese medicine approach to health, well-being, and care. You will be exposed to the biomedical models of those as well.
So a little bit more about what we have to offer. So these are all the different program tracks that are available here through the New England School of Acupuncture. So in order to be a licensed practitioner here in the United States, so to practice acupuncture, minimum degree needed is a master's of acupuncture. So that's kind of the base degree. You need that at least in order to be eligible to be practicing. So we offer that. We also offer, if we wanted to study a little bit of both, so we offer a master's of acupuncture with Chinese herbal medicine. So this would not only make you eligible to be practitioner of acupuncture, but also make you eligible to be working with herbs. So in order to do that, so those would just be the master's level. We also offer some different tracks if you wanted to go from the master's track into a doctoral program. So you can go from a master's of acupuncture to a doctor of acupuncture. We could do everything. So we could do a master's of acupuncture with the herbs plus a doctor of acupuncture track. And if anyone happens to be already a practicing acupuncturist and looking forward to just a doctorate program, we do currently still offer a doctor of acupuncture completion program. So Dean Mosman, why maybe would someone take a doctoral track or versus maybe staying with the masters, and what those differences could mean for their career?
So a couple of reasons, Amy. Let's see. So right now, as Amy said, the entry into the profession across the United States is a master's degree. So in almost every state in the US, you're required to graduate with a master's degree from an accredited acupuncture institution. Our accrediting agency is called ACOM, the Accreditation Commission for Acupuncture and Herbal Medicine. And then also you will need to pass one or more of a national certification exams that are administered by an external organization. While the entry level into the profession at this time is a master's degree, acupuncture, the profession of acupuncture is rapidly moving towards the doctoral degree, becoming the entry level into the profession. We've seen other healthcare professions do this, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and acupuncture is certainly, I would say, well on its way to becoming a doctoral entry level profession. Now, as long as you enter the program before that, those kinds of laws are passed nationally, your master's degree will allow you to practice in every state in the United States. I will say that the entry into a master's program is 60 college credits, and the entry, like the admission requirement into a doctoral program, is a minimum of 90 credits. So that's one difference between the two programs. The other difference is the length of the program. Our master's program are 3 years in length, and our doctoral programs are 4 years in length. And there are a set of, there's some knowledge, skills, and abilities that are taught in a doctoral program that focus around, learning how to become a team member in an interprofessional healthcare team, learning, wait, that doesn't want to stop, I apologize. Learning how to become a team member, learning to communicate, cooperate, and collaborate with other healthcare professionals to deliver high quality patient-centered care, as I talked about before, understanding evidence-based practice and evidence-based medicine and how to incorporate that into your clinical practice. So these are some of the differences between a master's and doctoral level program. Obviously, if the number of years are more, it makes sense that the number of credits are more. So you'll be taking more classes in a variety of different disciplines in the doctoral program compared to the master's programs.
Excellent. So one other thing that's really kind of exciting is not only are you going to get clinical training through your program, we have a clinical site on the bottom floor of your building, which is pretty impressive. I go to around to some other schools, and other schools may have some community sites. I'm just really, I'm always surprised about the space we have for our community clinic and how many members of our community that we can serve. So I am going to let Dean Mosman talk about how our clinical phases work between your assistantship and internship, and talk about some of the different options that we have for you to complete those.
Thanks, Amy. So, yeah, so clinical training at New England School of Acupuncture starts in day one. We believe clinical experiences are at the heart of learning how to become an acupuncturist, a healthcare provider. And because of that, we start clinical rotations in your first semester, and they happen through your entire 3 or 4 year stay with us, whether you're a master's or a doctoral student. Our clinical experiences are divided in, there's two kinds. There's something called clinical assistantship, where you are observing a licensed acupuncturist in action and maybe assisting with some small skills as you get further into the program. And then there's something called clinical internship, where you are treating the patient directly and you're being observed by a licensed acupuncturist to make sure you're carrying out those clinical skills, in the most efficient, productive way to bring about the best treatment. As Amy said, those clinical experiences, whether it's observing or being the acupuncturist, they can take place here at our NISA Acupuncture Treatment Center. We have a large, beautiful clinical facility with 11 private treatment rooms. It's really state of the art. Every time I have a visitor walk through clinic, their jaws drop at the beauty of our clinical setup. So you will do some part of your clinical experiences here, seeing the patients that come into our clinic regularly. There is at least a 3-month wait to get into our clinic, so there is never a shortage of patients at our site. And then there are other off-site clinical opportunities. So we have a network of NISA alumni that is over 120 practice locations throughout the New England area, where our students can go and be clinical assistants and observe in a variety of different kinds of acupuncture treatment practices. You might want to specialize in pediatrics. Well, there's one of our affiliates who specialize in pediatrics, or you might want to specialize in community-style acupuncture or reproductive medicine or oncology, et cetera, et cetera. We have practitioners in our network serving every possible clinical specialty you could imagine. In addition, we offer hospital placements in some of Massachusetts' top hospital centers: Boston Medical Center, Massachusetts General Hospital, UMass Medical Center, the VA. We have a host of hospital placements where you will go into a hospital and work with patients on the floor in an integrative medical setting, just like any other healthcare professional working in a hospital. So I think we have some of the top rotations in the country. Certainly on the East Coast, I don't think there's anyone that can compete with us in terms of these clinical placements. So you will have a very enriching, diverse clinical experience while you're here at New England School of Acupuncture.
And since your program is only offered on one campus, you're not competing with any other students on any other campus for any of these sites. So some of your other friends and other programs may be jealous of the opportunities that you have, which is just so amazing for our students. Not only do we have the full community treatment center kind of on the first floor of our building, we also have a state-of-the-art herbal dispensary available in the building, not only for you to learn in, but it is an active working dispensary that does fill for the local public. So Dean Mosman, do you want to talk to us a little bit about what we have to offer here?
Yeah, so much like our acupuncture treatment center, we have a state-of-the-art Chinese herbal medicine dispensary, which you can see pictured on this slide here. It is a very large herbal dispensary which specializes in the different kind of formulations of Chinese herbs. So there's an area that you can see through the glass partition, and that area of the herbal dispensary houses our raw herbs, which we formulate together to form what's called an herbal decoction. On the right side of the screen in this picture, although you can't see it, is the granulation part of our herbal dispensary. And there you will find individual herbal granules, concentrated granules from the leading herbal manufacturers in the world. herbal granulation formulas as well, and we can put together more complex formulas with combinations of those different granules. There are also patent herbs that are dispensed in our herbal dispensary. These are kind of like pre-packaged supplement style herbal formulas. There are topical formulas that are made and you will learn to use and learn to make in our herbal dispensary. So by the time you leave and you're part of that Chinese herbal medicine program, you're going to learn how to not only recommend, but how to prepare herbal formulations in a variety of different manners so that you'll be able to offer these different things to your patients, because not every patient is going to use a raw herbal formula. They might not want to cook their own herbs. They might want something else. So you'll have that experience while you're in your program so that you can apply those skills in your practice after you graduate.
So, I mean, we have been talking why MCPHS, why come study at the New England School of Acupuncture. And I think we've touched upon a lot of this. And really, you're getting this extensive clinical experience. You're getting this amazing education from some top providers of your field. You're getting lots of resources and student support. Dean Mosman, what do you think that maybe we haven't touched upon, or is there anything maybe we haven't touched upon of why students may want to study here at NISA versus other programs?
Yeah, I mean, so certainly, I think on this slide, one thing that we haven't touched on is the amount of hands-on training you get here. Certainly there are courses that are didactic, which are, lectures about different theories in both Chinese and Western medicine. But you start with hands-on training again in, the first weeks of your first semester. You'll be needling in semester one. You'll be, working with your fellow classmates to learn all of those needling skills and adjunctive techniques that I talked about earlier. And you will be practicing all of those skills throughout your 3 or 4 years, depending on which program you're in. It allows for you to have the most exposure to learning the skills that you need to be a successful acupuncturist. There are some other schools that don't start those needling experiences, those clinical technique trainings until the second year of the program. Our philosophy is we want to give you the most experience learning those skills, and we start those from day one. I think most of what we talked about, or most of what's on this slide, it's kind of been talked about previously in some other slides. Maybe with the exception of research, NISA has long been a leader in acupuncture research, and we continue to offer very innovative research experiences and research opportunities as part of your program here at New England School of Acupuncture.
So again, I think a lot of this is what we've been themed upon throughout the whole entire presentation. So you are in a growing field. So we're definitely seeing more growth than anything else. Happy to report that we had an increase in enrollment this year. So students are coming back, students are showing great interest. So we definitely are on that growth pattern. Our students are well prepared. We have talked about the clinical exposure that you are getting and all of these different resources that you are getting in preparing for your professional practice. Also, people in healthcare, you're getting well paid. So including acupuncturists in here, and I believe the statistics from 2021, so we really do need maybe some updated here. And speaking of well paid, Dean Mosman, I think you can talk a little bit about this. Also depending on what our students are venturing off to do once they graduate. So private practice, obviously maybe a little bit more slower start than maybe working in a already set up facility.
Yeah, I mean, certainly true. And I think, it really varies what someone wants. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this close to 30 years. And I see students from all walks of life. I see nurses that come into the program. I see accountants that come into the program, music teachers. I've seen every probably almost every profession, people who are looking to do something else. And then I see, undergrad students looking to make this their first career. Each of those students and potential graduates come into a program with an idea of what do they want out of an acupuncture practice. Not everybody is looking for a 9-to-5 job. Not everybody's looking to work 40 hours a week. But I can say with confidence that whether you're looking to work a full-time job and this is your primary source of income, or whether you're looking to do this half-time or part-time and supplement a family income, there are a lot of opportunities out there for a skilled acupuncturist. And those opportunities are both in a private practice where you kind of hang your shingle and you start to build up patients. And yes, those practices take some time to build. Ask any medical doctor how long it took him or her to build their private practice. This is a 3 to 5 year process. But I think that process can be very lucrative if you apply the principles not only of the medicine, but the practice management skills that will teach you along the way to have a successful and lucrative practice. As well, there are opportunities. The VA is the largest acupuncture employer in the United States. So there are great opportunities within the VA system. And, we have several of our students who have gone on and graduated and gotten pretty prestigious jobs in hospitals around the New England area, either working in an acupuncture integrative medicine department within a hospital, or some of our graduates are helping to build those departments in hospitals as well.
Okay, so the fun part, how do we get into the programs to have all of these benefits? So a little bit about the application process. Our application is a free online application. So if you go to our website, anywhere you want to click apply and you're looking at our graduate application choices, you'll want the first one, the MCPHS graduate application. So you will fill out your basic form information. There is a personal statement. So really your desire to study acupuncture. This is your time to really talk to us about your journey, maybe what you feel passionate about, maybe if you already know the type of acupuncture you want to practice. But really these are your words to us. So really the only place in the application where you can speak directly to us as an admissions committee. You'll want to make sure to submit all official transcripts from all universities attended. So even if you took some courses at a community college and then had them transferred into a university, we still need that community college transcript plus the university transcript. So sometimes that can get confusing. So just all copies from all institutions. And then you have your choice of maybe what program that you are going to directly apply into. So if we're applying for the Masters of Acupuncture, you can still apply without completing a bachelor's degree, but you would need to show a minimum of 60 undergraduate college credits. So for comparison, your undergraduate degree is 120 credits. So a bachelor's degree would be 120 credits full. So if you take the minimum of 60, you would still be eligible to apply to our master's degree. If you wanted to apply to the track of master's to doctorate, please know that you can still apply without finishing that undergraduate degree, but you would need to show a completion of 90 minimum undergraduate college credits. Also not to be confused with, I'll just start the master's program and then I'll be able to show I took, over 100 credits, and it has to be those undergraduate credits in order for this to work. So, if you already have a completed bachelor's degree, nothing to worry about. But if you do not, it is still a possibility and you are still eligible. There are just a little bit of rules there in terms of applying. If you are already a practicing acupuncturist, you would want to pick the Doctor of Acupuncture completion option. So we would need all official graduate level transcripts from your accredited acupuncture or Chinese medicine program. If you are an international student applying, all international transcripts must be evaluated by either WES or ECE. So there are step-by-step instructions on how to do so, right there on the website. And also you can save, come back, fill it along as you go. So it's not a whole lot of pieces, but there are some pieces that, organization of getting those transcripts requested and maybe going over an edit of that personal statement does take a little bit of time. So the admissions review, so applications are open now. We will still keep reviewing and interviewing through the spring. So your application comes in, it is submitted, it first comes to me. I'm doing an initial basic admissions overview. So if you're telling me I am a biomedical, engineer from Harvard, I'm making sure that that transcript you submitted shows that you completed that biomedical engineering degree from Harvard. I'm making sure that if you have not completed a bachelor's degree, that you're meeting those credits. I'm looking through your transcript to see if there's any possibility of transfer credit. I'm looking there to see if there's anything of a red flag comes up, or if we're looking at this application and they are a qualified eligible candidate. If you are, then you will be invited to the next phase of the review, which would be a faculty interview. These are done virtually through Zoom. So again, it's about 30 minutes. This is a great time for you to get to know more about our program and us to get to know a little bit more about you. We love questions. So that is my biggest tip of advice. Please make sure to come with questions about the program or about maybe even your faculty member or the industry. And really be yourself. This is a casual conversation. It is one-on-one. There is not a panel of judges that are, looking over the review. You see me first. I make sure that we're all here. I exit the interview. So even admissions is not sitting in on this interview. So please make sure, feel comfortable to be yourself. We're happy that you're there. We're excited to get to know more about you. So we do hope that this is always a positive process for our applicants. Whoops. I was going a little too fast. So ways to connect with us. I for sure can get you anything to do with acupuncture, any question you have about the university, even if I don't know it or I'm not the right person. My contact information will always make sure that I put you in touch with the right person if I am not there. So, and there's lots of different ways for you to connect with us, come to visit campus. We offer monthly tours on campus. If you wanted to sit in on a class or you wanted to come on a day that maybe we don't have a formal tour, if I'm available, I am always happy to have you on campus. I'm happy to walk you around. If it's available for you to sit on a class, I'm also happy to set that up. So we're pretty flexible over here. We love it when inquiries and prospects are to come to campus. We really believe that we have a lot for you to see and a lot of hands-on things for you to dig into while you're here. We will have some fall open houses coming up in November. So make sure to keep an eye on that visit tab. Registration will be launching hopefully by the end of this week. So here in Worcester, fall open house will be on November 14th. Starting at 4:30. So there will be more information to follow. We'll go out with lots of invitations. So we'll have much more information there. We've got some great stuff on YouTube. So lots of cool videos if you can't come here physically in person. So lots of different ways to get in touch with us and make sure that all of your questions are answered. I do see that the question and answer box is live. So let's see if we can work through some of these programs. Does the school have herb grown farm with real herbs, leaves, or powder form herbs? So we do not have an active farm on campus right now. I think we would all love to have that in the future, Dean Mosman. But I don't know if there's plans for that, but I can say right now, we do not have an active farm here on campus. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about where we do get our herbs from.
Our herbs come from a variety of different sources. Most of them are overseas. Some come from China, some come from Japan, some come from Korea. Really depends on which of the herbal formulations that you're talking about. These are all, go through a pretty rigorous quality assurance process by the importer that we purchase from, as well as when the herbs come in-house, and our Chinese herbal medicine dispensary manager, make sure that the herbs meet our internal standards, as well as good manufacturing processing standards set by the United States Department of Health.
So speaking of management of the herb dispensary and talking about Medora, next question is, can we speak about the herbs in the school, which we did just talk about the quality of it, and the faculty members' experience in herbs? So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about Medora's background. I mean, she's primarily dealing with that in the labs in the dispensary.
Yeah, so I mean, certainly we have herbal, full-time and adjunct faculty who have expertise in Chinese herbal medicine and Chinese herbal medicine preparations, as does the Chinese herbal dispensary manager. So they will work together to help, both in the classroom, in the dispensary, and in our clinic, to make sure that you're getting all of the information that you need to really accurately and safely recommend Chinese herbal formulations to your patients.
So we do have some questions about a part-time schedule versus full-time. So the 3-year Masters of Acupuncture, or 3 years and a semester Masters of Acupuncture in Chinese herbal medicine, is full-time on campus for that program. We do have an alternative path. We can offer a 4-year Masters of Acupuncture. That would mean a part-time start in terms of our part-time curriculum. So that could include up to 9 credits per semester in multiple courses, but it's still part-time compared to our full-time curriculum, where students are taking 17 credits, 20 credits in a real full-time accelerated course load. So what that means is your first 2 years will be in a hybrid and part-time fashion. So when you're starting off in the program, it's part-time doing some online courses, then part-time and doing some on-campus work in hybrid fashion, but also it doesn't mean that you will be doing this part-time throughout. So those last 2 years of that 4-year track, you will be here on campus and conducting a lot of that clinical work.
Yeah, I do want to qualify some of that. So I just want to make sure when we say the words part-time, that we understand the context of that. So there's part-time programs as defined by the Department of Education and by Title IV funding and receiving federal financial aid. Part-time programs are less than 9 credits. So you cannot do this program less than 9 credits a semester in 3 years and finish the program. That's not the kind of program that this is. It's a master's program. Our accelerated program is full-time in nature if you want to finish in 3 years. We have a 4-year version and a 3-year version, and a 5-year version of the program that are posted online. And I strongly encourage that you look at those curriculum to see how many credits you will be required to take in each of those semesters, because there are semesters where the credit load is not below 9 credits. So it's not considered part-time by Department of Education and by federal financial aid definitions. So please carefully look at those. There are merit scholarships available, which can reduce your tuition, substantially, up to $8,000 a year. Those are based on, what is your GPA coming in, and that's the merit part of it. And those are also based on your credit load. So if you're at a less than full-time credit load, then the merit scholarship will be prorated based on your credit load. I did also see, I just saw something that I didn't see in question number 1 in our chat, Amy, is we do have native Chinese faculty members who teach it throughout the acupuncture program, both in acupuncture and in the acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine programs. And we do have faculty who speak Chinese as well. We do not have a Chinese language course in the program, but we do also have, for international students, we have support through our international student support, like through CASE that Amy mentioned before. There is in our learning center, there's an English language resource center. Students who may need extra help with English language proficiency, we certainly are able to provide that here at the university.
Absolutely. And on top of those merit scholarships, leading into the last question about financial aid and funding, those merit scholarships come directly from the school, so they are granted at the time of application. That is when you are awarded your scholarship. It does travel year to year, so it's renewable each year that you stay in good academic standing. But that would be the only terms of funding from the school. So when we're talking about things like work study and financial aid scholarships, federal work study is very minimal on the grad level. If you are awarded it, it would be awarded in your FAFSA package. And then you would be able to gain access to listings of any jobs on campus that are work study eligible. So we would get you in touch with that. Now, aside from federal work study funds, a lot of departments on campus do hire students. For example, the admission office hires lots of students as our student admissions ambassadors. So you may help with events, doing administrative tasks, maybe reaching out to applicants or inquiring students, and just kind of assisting the admission office in some of those activities. I know that a lot of faculty offices hire students for various tasks. Usually more than likely they're administrative type tasks and things of that nature. So some students also pick up part-time jobs outside of the program. I do know a number of students that are able to balance some minimal part-time work plus doing the program. I would say that that's definitely a time management thing, but possible. So some students still are able to have a paycheck coming in while they are attending class. But in terms of, you can always, if you wanted to talk about tuition and how billing works, or questions of how federal financial aid works, I am happy. If you want to contact me, I'm happy to put you in touch with Student Financial Services, and they can answer some of those questions. But in terms of funding from the school, those merit scholarships are going to be the only option on that avenue. Which I think answered some of those questions. The question and answer box is still open. It's 5:04. So we do still have a couple more minutes, even though I don't want to take too much time from everyone else. Like I said, my contact information, any questions, any concerns, any kind of requests. If you had questions for Dean Mosman, you can contact me. I am happy to put you in touch with him. I know that we weren't able to have a current student on just today, but if you did have specific questions that you wanted to connect with a student, I am also happy to put you in touch with a student if you wanted to ask those questions. Like I said, we're pretty flexible. Our email's open. I always like to say that's kind of like how my office door is open for anyone who may need anything. So please feel free to contact us. Like I said, pay attention to those visit tabs. Any type of event that we're going to have on campus, we have receptions in the fall, we have receptions in the spring, we have receptions in the summer. So lots of different ways for you to come connect with us here on campus as well. I do not see any more questions coming in on the box. So like I said, if anyone needs a copy of tonight's recording, it'll be available within the next 24 hours. It does take 24 hours for Zoom to let me download it. But please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to send you a copy. I'm happy to set up any kind of, admissions counseling meetings. So please feel free to reach out, and we look forward to hopefully inviting you to campus someday. Thanks everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.